Yeah.
There's a design and visual sensibility that I like about Holland in general, the Dutch. Yeah, I mean, all the way from, I've been to conferences where you get the way the graphics are, the way that you use little printed materials and things. I mean,
but this is a particular good-looking location, though.
This location is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I really do like it. I have a 3D camera. I'm going to take it around and try to capture, like, the sensibility of the little catwalks that go across the way over there. I mean, the building itself is really amazing. I love the idea. I mean, I'm from London where they do the same thing, where historic buildings are really preserved and occupied and kept, which is true of this. This is really a beautiful space.
Yeah. So you just gave the keynote. You were opening speaker.
Yeah.
What was the most important thing in your keynote? I was watching, but for the audience at home.
Yeah, I think a very big point. I mean, I was making a point about that screens are not just about themselves as a flat thing that we think of them, that they actually define spaces. And the most interesting space to me is one that's coming. I mean, you can, if we sat here 10 years from now, you'll say, oh, Dale was talking about this. It's that space in front of the screen. And to me, what's so interesting about it is that it looks very cool. But in addition to that, what I like about it is that it's a space of information that's really owned by the consumer. I mean, there are a lot of regulations around media positioning and things next to each other in screen. So you move past that when you get outside. You can see it now. If you use an iPad while you're watching a TV show, you can look at whatever you want to look at.
Yeah.
I mean, there are no restrictions. You have the open web that you can access. So if you can pair things next to something else, you create for your own world a little new experience at your control. So.
What is your view on the second screen? Because a lot of people now use a second device. You were talking more about an integration in the other screen, in the first screen.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think the future of the second screen looks like?
The second screen is so important because my mobile device, for example, it's me. I have a lot of business connections in there already. I can purchase things. I can do things in there immediately. A lot of that doesn't exist. It's difficult to do through the more controlled systems on the television. But if you think of it, that I can do a lot of other things immediately. I mean, I don't even have to tell this phone that it's me. It is me.
Yeah.
I can turn it on. I just click the thing and I can purchase something. So there's a lot of configuration of direct connection to lots of things that's already in the mobile device.
How do you use your second screen?
A lot of it is used for just extra keeping up on things. It's like I look at the notifications on Facebook. I'm looking at my Facebook feed. A lot of it's not necessarily related to what's on TV. That happens occasionally at a really critical moment when I may see something that interests me, whether it's to purchase or just know about something in a program I want to know about it. Go straight to Google and you get information about it. But a lot of it is about keeping up with my social stuff and checking email and
You don't use Twitter that much, do you?
I'm an observer on Twitter. I mean, if you look at me, I don't tweet very much.
You're on a private account. Or I saw that you were.
Am I actually private?
Yeah, you are.
Oh.
Or at least the ones that I could find were.
Oh, so that's right. You have to be. I have to accept you. Yes, I see what you mean. Yes. Is that?
I cannot see anything that you tweet, for instance.
Oh, until we connect. So that's right.
Why did you choose to do that?
I'm actually not sure. I don't know.
It's just by accident,
or
by default.
By default. It was probably by default.
You were also you worked on Minority Report. That's what most people probably know you from.
Yeah.
If you were asked to make a new Minority Report that would take place in 2040, 50 maybe, what do you think the world would look like then?
The thing that I'm fairly certain it will look like are the new emerging things about the input how we communicate with screens. There's a lot of communication when I talk about gesture, the things that we saw from, for example, that I've done a lot of work in, and we've seen it from Minority Report and other things, gesturing. that's an overt communication. I mean, I want something, I wave and I do this.
Yeah.
There are lots of other input. There's a lot of other communication we're giving that can be picked up by.
It's very intuitive.
Yes. I mean, for example, the same camera systems that are in Connect, which are not true cameras, they're motion sensors, but when they become high resolution and smart, they can detect my body language. So I'm not really overtly saying something, but the systems that are helping me get media can be smarter because I can just see there's a communication I'm giving by I'm tired and my head goes down like this and it watches me go to sleep on the couch, so then it can respond appropriately. I mean,
maybe it'll like put on like a nice sleeping music or turn down the heat or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Turn down the lights, get a little dimmer, or turn it off and let you go to sleep. I mean, that's sort of maybe a silly example possibly, but there are a lot of things that I think that can help us with it. The idea is that the computers that we own and that we work with and communicate with can become smart, and they can really help us so that what we're interfacing with is less having to work at it, and there's a lot that's done automatically without us doing anything. So like even identification, I mean that's a big step in a television world where often when a multi-user environment, family, there's it's set up for dad, or it's set up for mom, or it's set up for the son, and somebody has to go in and physically set that and click this over. Well, with this identification thing, facial recognition, you could walk in the room and it just sets itself up. You don't have to do anything. So that's the new interface possibility, that you don't have to do anything.
What does your own living space look like at home? Is it very technically integrated and designed?
It's actually it's not as techy looking as most, as you might think, but there's a common thing. I mean, my space, I have 2 levels. There's bedrooms downstairs, and upstairs is one big common space which has a television. I have a 3D television at one end. Yeah. And that's sort of a living room thing. And on the end of that room is a dining room table. And I always have my laptop is open. If I'm eating or whatever I'm doing at the table, I'm watching television. It's hard to do, even if I'm focusing on some work or some communications and stuff. I'm tracking what's going on, and it's another presence of other kinds of things going on.
Are you always multitasking?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's, and I think if you were to look at the younger audience, the new audience that's growing up into media now, they're definitely multitasking.
But they're not even able to single task anymore.
It's very difficult, and they get bored with it. I mean, and that's something that I think television needs to look at, because just the idea of sitting for a while and looking at something may not be so common, if you're doing something else. So
I was wondering about, you were talking about the integration of the second screen in the first screen, and I was thinking about what if I would sit at home with my boyfriend and we were watching a movie or a series, and he would be like, oh, I just want to check the news. And so he would check the news within our series or within our movie. That would really annoy me or bug me. Yeah. It's not really social to do it with 2 people. Or
you mean if he's doing it with my augmented reality thing and you can't see it and you can't see it? Yeah. There's an interesting new method of interaction with groups, whether it's more than one. Yeah. That's possible, and it's being experimented with today, and that is that it's the idea of sharing. Different people in a room with one television back there. Think of the television itself as the multi-viewing experience, as the public space. So if I'm looking at something, or if you're with your boyfriend there, and you sense that he's seeing something, and he may starts laughing, and you say, I want to see that. Well, he can throw that to the television, and you can see it. So there's sort of an interaction between the screens. Yeah. So. But it is true that
with the different layers, it's hard. But
but you can share a space. I mean, there have been models set up so that I could share this, so that if you're wearing the same glasses or we have the same 3D system, you could just bring it there and it comes out. You both see it. So, but one of the beauties is that it can be either. And it's up to the dynamics.
It could be very weird, very weird dynamic.
Yeah,
Someone next to you can have a totally different viewing experience.
But that's a future social dynamic that we may have to adjust to. You know, I mean, you want both. You want to be able to be private, and you want to be able to share. So that's up to you and your boyfriend to work that out.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean.
So we will have to.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dale Herigstad, for the interview, and I wish you a very nice day today.
Thank you. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you.
Thanks. My nose started running in the middle of that.